I work for EQT Ventures, a VC pan-European large first round of about, or fund of about 600 million euros. And as many VCs or investors, we obviously try to identify interesting themes to invest into for the future. One of them is construction tech or real estate technology, in our view. And here's the reason. It is a mega big industry. There's a lot of talk about fintech and insurtech and so forth, but the real estate or construction industry is massive. North of 10 trillion today, will grow to 15.5 or so in the next decade. There's another great macro tailwind here, which is the urbanization. More and more people in developing, as well as in developed markets, are moving into cities. And by 2050, when there will be about 10 billion people in the world, 75% of them will actually live in very large cities. So it creates a lot of pressure on building, and of course making that sustainably in a more efficient manner than you have today. And speaking of efficiency, those are the great things about this industry. It's big, it's growing. There's a big problem. This industry, construction, is one of the least productive you can find out there. And it essentially hasn't done anything. You look at that graph, there are a couple of similar ones, but this goes back to the 1960s, I think. All other industries, varying degrees, have of course seen productivity growth. Construction has not. As a matter of fact, it's actually shrunk. There are way too many players. It's a very inefficient kind of last mile process involved, and it's staggering given how much money and how big the industry is. We, of course, think that technology and digitization will really transform this industry, so it's a big opportunity ahead. So that leads us to our investment in BIMobject, and Ben, CTO of BIM. Can you just explain what is BIM, first of all, because that's an industry term?
Absolutely.
And then what BIMobject does, which is so interesting and then will help this industry.
For sure. Like many industries, the construction industry is not short of its acronyms. BIM means Building Information Modeling, or when you're talking to some people, it means Building Information Management. And it's a massive paradigm shift that's been going on for the last 20 years. As Johan said, actually, to your point about how slow the construction industry is to move, do you know when the last time the construction industry was disrupted?
No.
It was called the Industrial Revolution, so over 200 years ago. Meaning we're still...
Long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Meaning we're still building buildings the same way that we did 200 years ago. Now, demand for buildings is growing. Quality is shrinking, as are margins. We are the world's leading ecosystem for construction product information. Our core purpose is to create an efficient platform to connect the entire construction industry. So what's BIMobject doing? We talk in terms of user value streams and customer value streams. So everything that you see in this building, if you look up in the ceiling here, from the lighting to the cable trays and even the chair that you're sitting on, we create that as a digital twin. Now that allows us to be able to then publish those products on our platform to over 1.5 million design professionals. And a typical profile of a design professional on BIMobject is architects, plumbing, electrical, construction, and mechanical engineers. So what we do with this informational rich object, we have all of that product information there as well, which also makes us a knowledge sharing platform. So how does that fit in, and how does it make the building industry better? It means that a design professional can make a decision based on data, based on information, and know that that's what they're going to be able to get when that goes into procurement further on down in the process. So BIM also encompasses, and it's allowing transparency across all stakeholders in the construction industry. So not only vertical construction, but we're also talking about horizontal construction or infrastructure projects, rail, bridges, piping, and roadworks and things like that. For BIMobject, again, we create these wonderful objects. That's one part of our business revenue. The other part, so that's a hybrid SaaS, where part of it is on our cloud platform when we create these objects. The other part of the SaaS part of our business is the publishing. So we allow product manufacturers to publish their objects, get 1.5 million eyes onto their products. We're also above that, we're a sales and marketing tool as well. So we're giving access to the manufacturers to the users' information. So we're, in essence, we're connecting the design community with the building product manufacturers and vice versa, which is a massive value add for the entire industry later on down in the process. Something that we're starting to see now, which is a trend, is that we're even getting into the operations part of it. So once that building is being built and commissioned, we're seeing that the owners and the facility managers are also leveraging that information that's up on the BIMobject platform. So again, it's going back to what I said earlier. It's more about the information management later on in the full building life cycle.
Very cool. So those 1.5 million professional users, architects, designers, mechanical engineering firms, etc., they download the BIM objects for free.
Yes,
right?
Exactly.
And the manufacturers of those objects, you BIMify their objects, and they pay a SaaS fee to be
exactly. So it's a
so it becomes a marketplace globally, basically.
Exactly. Subscription-based business model, and yeah, so for the end user value stream, it's pretty simple. Yeah, like you say, it's totally free of charge.
Right.
Well, they need to register.
Got it. How many manufacturers are there on the platform?
On the platform today, great question. We have around 1,300 manufacturers on the platform. So looking forward into the future, there's literally thousands and thousands. So we're only just scratching the surface. If we look at design professionals or everyone that's involved in a construction process and even into facility management and operations, we're talking millions. Millions and millions. So we'll continue to grow that part of our platform. We see today that we have a very healthy growth of our, healthy organic growth of our end user value stream. And the same with our customer value stream. Will continue to grow that as well.
Cool. Do you have to spend money, like marketing money, to get users, architects, designers onto the platform?
No, it's 100% organic.
And how do you come up with that fee?
Good question.
It's a great platform, I guess. But
it is. It's an awesome platform. Yeah.
Right. And the platform itself and the BIM objects that you have on it, why is it so attractive compared to whatever file formats that architects and designers use today?
I think the number one reason why we're so attractive is because globally we're the number one. We're 10 times bigger than our closest competitor on that front, which is amazing. In the short time that we've been around, which is 8 years, we've really grown that part of the business. The market recognition that we have and the brand recognition that we have is incredible. Did that kind of answer your question?
Yeah, it's great. What are the challenges today? How can you grow faster, or why are you not growing faster?
The biggest challenge...
It's like I said, it's a big industry, but
yes.
It has a lot of vested interest and definitely slow moving.
Exactly.
So how is it changing, or are you successful in it?
Yes, we are, definitely. The industry has come to a point now where it doesn't have a choice. It has to change. And if they don't change, those people are going to disappear. And we always compare that with the Kodak paradigm, what happened with them. They didn't take digitisation seriously. Mm-hmm. Those people that don't digitize now, they will disappear. They're at a point now where, again, margins they're being pushed down. We need more buildings in the world. So an interesting couple of statistics. We have around 1 billion buildings on planet Earth today. In 2050, 75% of the world's population will live in megacities, which is quite interesting. It creates massive challenges. And you know what that means? It means that we need more housing to house these people. So by 2050, and this was a couple of years ago, we need to build 3 billion more buildings to house all of those people.
Right.
So again, the industry is slow at changing. We're succeeding, absolutely. The digitization of the industry is starting to speed up, but it's not fast enough. So I see that as one of our biggest challenges, that the adoption of the digitization of the construction industry is still too slow. Got it.
So if today the model is to connecting or building that marketplace for the user value stream and the manufacturers, where does BIMobject go over the next 5 to 10 years with a cloud solution and BIM just becoming a very, very big trend that everyone has to adopt? What else can you do apart from growing bigger?
I think there's a lot more that we can do. Obviously, we can continue to develop the platform, to automate even more the content creation process, to really grow that part of our business. And the more content, the more users that will come to us, so the more end user value stream people that will come to us. So I think it's just going to be one of those natural things. We see in our data that the more content that we're producing, the more users that we're connecting with manufacturers. So I think that's what we need to keep doing to continue to grow the platform on both sides.
If this were a pitch, it could say the Netflix of the construction industry.
I don't like to compare ourselves with anyone else. But yes, you're right.
Okay. What about some of the really big call it content or demand generators, Google, Amazon, etc., wouldn't they be a threat, or are they a potential friend in this?
I think both. I mean, they see the amount of revenue that this industry generates. I can see that as a little bit of a threat to us. I know that Alibaba did try this. They tried the BIM CAD part of it, and they failed dismally.
Right.
It wasn't in
Quite
their
specific.
DNA. It was very specific, yes.
Got it. So how big is BIMobject in 5 to 10 years from now?
Oh, wow.
You can choose a metric or definition.
I think...
Because you said you're roughly 10 times bigger than the nearest competitor
Yep.
today. Where do you think it can go?
Oh, 100
really
times
expand?
bigger. We'll be 100 times bigger,
Yep.
for sure.
That's it.
With the rate that everything's growing, users, customers will definitely be 100 times bigger within the next 5 to 10 years.
Well, as investors, we like that ambition from 10 to 100x. All right, thank you very much, Ben.
Awesome. Thanks, Johan.
I think we're running out of time.
Thank you.
Cheers.